All right, and welcome back to the forecast card. Another solid day in the NBA. Went 4-0. Celtics, I ended up betting it at night, kind of rooting for the fact that Tatum would play. That's what I posted the pinned comment. He didn't end up playing, but they ended up crushing them anyway, so hopefully some of you ended up still taking that. By the time I realized that he was playing, I actually had positive CLV. I think this line was like, even with Tatum out, it was still like -5. So once I saw that, I figured I was going to cash out because I didn't really cash out if I had CLV, and there must have been something else in that game. So 4-0 slash 3-0, depending on if you took Celtics or not. But pretty solid day. Pacers, that was an extremely back and forth game. Pacers almost won outright, but LeBron clutched up with the tip back in the final seconds to win by one. As whenever I tell people that whenever I have a +1.5, I take it every time because whenever that line is like that, the bookmakers know something. And I swear to God, the total ends on a 1 point win more often than not. So that one comes through. Celtics -3.5 ends up being sweat free somehow. I don't even know what the hell happened to the Suns. Raps versus Nets under total ends at like exactly 200, pretty sweat free, and Clips Knicks over. I'm not actually sure what the total ended on this game. Yeah, 239, so very sweat free as well. So yeah, overall pretty solid day. Didn't really have to sweat much. And yeah, I only like 2 games for tomorrow. I also didn't really want to take too much stuff that I was iffy on just because MLB starts and I'm probably going to end up betting a lot more than I usually would on baseball. So yeah, let's get into the 2 games that I like for tomorrow. All right, heading on to the first game that I like. We have Houston at Utah. It's going to be a bit of a later game. Um, yeah, Utah fully in sell mode. They actually kept it close against Memphis when they played 2 days ago, and then Memphis just went on like a 60-20 run to end up winning that game by 37. Um, yeah, this Utah team is not good by any stretch. They full on are not even hiding the fact that they're tanking. It's very unlikely that Markkanen's going to play for this game. Clarkson's probably going to be out. John Collins is still out. Um, yeah, Amen Thompson may not play for the Rockets. That's kind of to be TBD, but for the most part, Rockets are pretty healthy right now. They still have, Van Vliet, Jalen Green. I think this is going to be a good game. Again, Utah at home plays significantly worse. Jazz on the road are one of the better road teams in college basketball. Number one in the conference. Utah at home sucks. If you look at their last 5 ratings, I think Houston wants to get back on track. Jazz has been the worst team in college basketball for the last month, 2 months. They've been absolutely atrocious. Um, Houston, this will be a true travel spot for them, but I'm not necessarily concerned. They do typically play well on travel spots. They've won 4, 8, 9 of their last 10, only losing to Denver at home, which is always a tough matchup. But for the most part, they've been blowing teams out. They blew out the Pelicans by 12 and then by 29. They played Philadelphia. That was a weird game where that Philly put up 137 points, but Houston still dropped 144. Yeah, they're kind of crushing these mediocre teams, and I just don't think Utah can keep up. I have this model as an 18-point win for the Rockets. On top of that, they're a better road team. Jazz are the worst road team, and injuries kind of lean more to Houston. Even if Amen doesn't play, I still think that the injuries to Utah are more significant to how bad their team really is. So I think Jazz win this game, or Houston wins this game by 20-ish points. All right, in game number 2, we have Portland at Sacramento. Very similar spot here as the last game. I have this model as a 1 point win for Sacramento. I think they're getting a few too many points here. As far as I know, Portland doesn't have any significant injuries here. Obviously, they're still going to be without, DeAndre Ayton and Robert Williams. But Jeremy Grant, I think he's going to end up playing. It's unclear if he'll be playing, but even if he doesn't play, I still like this spot here. Malik Monk is probably still going to be out in the game against Portland. I think he was ruled out already. Portland, again, a team that plays really well on the road. On the road, covering, they're 19 and 15. Sacramento, they're still so bad. I don't know how they're so bad with the talent they have, but they've lost 8 of their last 10, including a 4-game loss streak all at home. They're probably going to be pretty tired. They played on the 20th, 22nd, 24th, and 25th. So this is going to be their 5th game in 1 week. And that's quite exhausting. Even though they're all at home, it's still a lot on your body. And they've only put up 116, 108, 95, 105. Now they're playing against one of the better, I wouldn't say one of the better teams, but they just had two tough teams, two tough matchups against the two best teams in college basketball, Cleveland, Boston, back to back at home. Now they're going to head on the road. I think they're gonna beat this team. I think they're due for a win. They have the talent. Again, most of this is just me kind of trying to explain why the model likes it. But the Kings at home, for some reason they're dog shit. They get worse at home. Portland plays basically equal on the road, but I think the edge here has to be Portland. I think they have the ability to keep this game close. They've been playing really good lately. In their last 5 rating, they've been like a top 10 team, and Sacramento is still hovering around like outside of the top 20. So getting 5.5 points with a relatively healthy Portland team. I think this is the right side. So give me Trailblazers plus 5.5. All right, and that's basically all I'm taking for tomorrow. In terms of lanes, I kind of like the Cavs versus Spurs. Spurs at home, or on the road, are kind of due for some wins. They've been playing pretty good basketball despite losing their 2 best players, but I'm just not interested in ever fading the Cavs, especially at home. They're just too grindy of a team. And the Cavs, I had this model at Cavs minus 16, Magic minus 7. This is basically a line which is telling me that AD is probably not going to play. If he does play, I love the Dallas side, but I don't think he's going to play. And Magic has been playing really, really well. So I kind of typically like the over and the Magic side on that one. Pacers have this model. There's a 13-point win for the Pacers. They are playing on a back-to-back, so I'm not really interested in betting this game. Both teams on back-to-backs. I'd probably not sure who's going to be sitting for either team. No interest. Typically, I like overs on these kind of teams, but usually only when one team's on a back-to-back. When they're both playing on back-to-back, there's not really the other team kind of using their fresh legs to score as fast. So I kind of like the under in that one. Hawks plus 2. Again, I have this basically as a 1-point game, so no interest in betting it. But I do think it's going to be a tight defensive game. Hawks are likely going to be without Trae Young. If that case, then this would switch to Miami. But I think this is like a 1 to 3 point game. No interest in betting it though. Lakers again on a back-to-back. Bulls are one of those teams that just shit on the Lakers last time they played. So you could argue maybe the Lakers want to get revenge, which is kind of why I like the spot, and I may end up betting it depending on how many bets I make in MLB. But they are on a back-to-back. Chicago's still playing really good basketball, and now they're at home. I have this modeled as like a 9-point win or something for the Lakers, which is kind of why I'm staying off it. Usually when I'm that far off, I'm missing something. So I'm probably expecting some stars to not play or something, but we'll see. Teams like Lakers, when they play 3 games in 4, actually improve. Like they have a positive net efficiency improvement. So the fact that they're playing the third and 4 days is actually analytically has been a positive thing for them in the past. So I wouldn't be scared of that if that's why you're off the Lakers. Grizzlies plus 10.5. Grizzlies are a pretty good team. Obviously, they're still going to be without Ja. OKC just continues to blow teams out, but I have this as basically a 9.5 point win for OKC, so not enough value for me to want to bet it. I do like the under though. I think OKC still clamps on defense, and Memphis, hasn't been playing nearly as fast paced without Ja. Houston and Utah. In that game, I do like the over. I don't know. I think the other players on Utah, when Markkanen's out, typically pick up the pace. Houston has been playing a bit less good defensively, and they've been putting up, some pretty big numbers. So probably would lean the over there. And Portland at Sacramento over as well. I had this model at like 226 or something. No bet for me. I think this is going to be kind of like a 114, 113, 112 kind of game. So it'd be right around the total. But yeah, that's everything for NBA. Only 2 bets today. Rockets minus 2.5 and Trailblazers plus 5.5. I try not to force stuff in NBA, especially with injuries. I'm not trying to guess, random shit. So I'm trying to pick games where the injuries are, for the most part, minimal, or at least on one side, so that I can find value on the other side. But if it's injuries on both sides, I have no interest in guessing minutes and whatnot. But yeah, that's everything for today, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow. MLB will be up in an hour or 2.